Yo, what it do, YouTube? We back with another episode. This one's a little bit of a special treat. I'm not gonna lie. Host close to us, Cambridge made. I'm gonna throw this one off to Murph. How you been, man?
I've been chilling.
Okay.
Nothing really new on this side other than, new sports things that happen, MLB. We'll get into that a little bit later, but yeah, we got a really special guest here. We've both known him for a couple years. No, not even a couple years.
Some time now, since middle school.
Say
10
about,
plus.
About a
10
decade.
plus.
10 plus,
Don't
yeah.
say 10. I'm feeling a little old. I'm not gonna lie.
It's 10 though.
But we got on my boy Omar. My boy, how you been, bro?
I'm good, bro. Same thing as y'all. Just figuring out my way in life, and
Yes, sir.
I'm happy to be here.
Yo,
It's truly an honor.
I'm super glad to have you as the first guest, bro. I feel like just prior to we starting up these cameras, we've been having great conversations. We've been here for maybe like an hour just chopping it up.
Hour and a half.
Yeah, just having to stop ourselves before we get too deep into it. It's been a good start. I'm glad to see how this pod goes. And bro, just tell me a little bit about yourself, bro. Who are you? Who is Omar?
Who is Omar? Omar is a man from Boston originally, but I came to Cambridge and I met guys like these two. And I share the same love. It's about sports, and we've all played sports and everything, but it's one thing that we all share, and we're all just able to talk about, and that's why we're here. So,
and that conversation could go on forever, bro.
Exactly, but no, as a whole, I'm just a human being. Just trying to make it to the next day, but.
Yes, Sirski. I'm gonna run you off with a question.
Okay.
So coming from Cambridge, a great city that me and Murph grew up in. You came in there in your middle school days. You grew up in there as well, technically. Do you think Cambridge, compared to other neighboring cities, has more opportunities that other cities don't?
Yeah, I mean, so for reference, like my mom's a high school teacher in Boston, right? Boston Public Schools isn't the greatest. I used to live in Boston, so, I've been involved in stuff like that.
What age did you move out?
I was 12. So I came here for 6th grade. But, seeing what happens in a bigger city like that, you realize, like, once you come to Cambridge, you're calling your teachers by their first name, and it's a lot more welcoming, and it's a city, but it's also a small town at the same time.
Like a community.
Right. And, it takes two to make a thing go right. When you add more people and more people are together, then a lot of more things can happen. So, I mean, Cambridge is obviously like a very, opportunistic, but also, they, as a city as a whole, they come together and they do shit properly. I think in other cities around us, like Somerville or even Malden or whatever you want to say, Medford, they're smaller scale. They're not going to get the same looks as we do because we have like Harvard, MIT, but as a whole, the community of Cambridge, like, that's what it's all about. And if you can't build a community within a city, then it's hard to compare to others. But I think Cambridge goes a step above that with a lot of people like Galuccio, who doesn't get enough recognition. Shout out to Galuccio. Just want to say that.
A little preview.
Yeah. There's different people. I could name a whole list of people that make this city what it is. But I just think Cambridge is a very special place. I mean, I've never met types of people I meet in Cambridge anywhere else. So
fair to say you think it's kind of crazy, at least to me, like growing up in Cambridge was cool, but like, bro, we was really right next to Harvard. Like you could take a 2-minute walk to Harvard Yard.
I used to walk through it every day to go to school.
Exactly, like coming off the train, right?
Yeah.
My street is right off of Harvard Street.
Exactly.
I'm right in between Harvard and Central Square, so I grew up going there, and my mom did too. My mom grew up in a different time. She's told me her experiences. She tells me how things have changed, how to deal with shit. But it's just, I don't know. Most people think of our city, they think of either Boston or Harvard. we're neither of those. We're Cambridge.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. We have our own identity.
Right, and I think that gets misinformed a lot of the time. But you know, like I said, the people that I meet from the city are just it's special. You know?
I feel you.
That's what makes it, you know, a city.
The one thing I will say about Cambridge is like everyone speaks on the opportunities and just certain things that can happen like growing up or just living in Cambridge, but it's like at the end of the day it's still your decisions.
For sure. 100%.
And like I think it goes without saying, like guys like Galuccio and some of our teachers growing up, like pushing us to actually go out and do what we want to do.
Well, they didn't really have to.
And like we've all seen it, like kids with the same opportunities as us just didn't stay on that path.
Mm-hmm.
That happens in any city, though. You know,
Yeah.
There's gonna be
yeah,
kids.
but with Cambridge though, it's like you have more of an opportunity. Like it's other cities aren't as like diverse, or like they don't offer the same programs, or like just the opportunity in general of like people who you can meet.
Yeah.
And then like
Connections
grow a relationship with them,
The
and then take it to like the next level of like a career, like sports, coaching, like whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like some guys just don't choose to take that opportunity.
One thing I wanted to talk about before we move on to the next one is just like the opportunity goes from different age ranges. So like you could be a kid, have great opportunities at Cambridge. You could be a young adult like we are, have great opportunities in Cambridge. And you could also have your career set, be in your late 30s, 40s, and still have amazing opportunities at the bridge. So that's kind of what I was like hinting at, like the great opportunities that there are. But I know you guys got a fond sports moment. I want to ask you, I want to know more about what's your favorite personal sports moment as a player though?
As a player?
Yeah.
Man,
I know you got a lot. You've had your fair share.
I mean, I used to play like 6 games a weekend of baseball. And
I remember that.
catching in the heat. I would like play a doubleheader, then go to my next game, catch again. You know, there's so many like, I don't know, different things that I could look at. But, you know, being here and, you know, like Leo said, we were talking about it before, like there's just one memory, like very fond memory of when me and Murph were playing. When I came to Cambridge, Murph was one of the first people I met. And he was on a little league team that I was playing on, and there was a very nice coach. Like he was probably the nicest man on earth. And he helped me play more baseball, so I love him. Okay. Shout out to Ryan Whitaker, and I'm sure he'll see this at some point. So I just want to let that be known. But back in the day, you know, Murph was a hothead. He had his moments, but I remember one specific moment when there was a scorebook error, and there was really already 3 outs. But the coach of the other team let Murph hit, and Murph just so happened to hit a home run.
It wasn't just a home run, though.
It was a grand slam.
It was a grand slam.
Okay. So, I
didn't know you had it like that.
Nah, but the reason why I just remember Murph going around first, and I just remember, because, like I said, he was always a hothead. To see him so, you know, joyful and just
I was
happy,
trying base. Yeah.
He was the happiest person I've ever come across at that exact moment. But once he came around second base, the umpire's waving it off. And come to find out, there were 3 outs instead of 2. And
he wasn't the nicest guy anymore.
No, Murph was not happy after that.
I exploded.
Murph, and rightfully so. But I'll never forget when Ryan looked at me, because I was on the bench. Ryan looked at me, he had the scorebook out, just like this. He's like counting up the outs. And he's like, oh shit, Murph's not gonna like this. And I look up and Murph is just freaking out.
I ended up going around all the bases.
You still had your Kodak moment?
But like the craziest part was like, just think about it, like little league or not, at any level, like there's not a lot of people or kids that can say they hit like a grand slam,
For
Yeah.
sure.
and like
It's true.
that was probably like
That's a big time moment.
You had no business hitting a home run either.
I put a couple into the pool. Stop it.
maybe not like the home run, but maybe like that moment.
That moment was put in
it
place
was
for me.
special. It was beautiful. Like
See, bro, he's trying to downplay it like it wasn't my moment.
Nah,
It's crazy.
Nah, but he probably meant like you wasn't
Nah,
expecting
bro,
Murph
but,
to
like-
step up like that.
dude, it was crazy because I remember it like I'm like running through it in my brain of each moment. I don't remember a lot of shit, but like that was one thing stuck
that's
with
crazy.
me. And like as we've grown up, I watch you grow into the person you are. Like it's like it's refreshing to look back on. You know,
I go back sometimes and just think about, because I still have pictures on my phone of like just like growing up. Like you can look through like the years and like looking through some of the pictures, like your parents were at the games, my mom was at the game, and like they'd always be taking pictures or videos or whatever, and like getting to look back at that, like you don't ever notice it in like the moment because like you're young and
right?
you shouldn't, like you should just be in the moment
Yeah.
as a kid, and then but looking back at it, it's like you don't realize how many memories you actually had.
Yeah. Shout out to the parents that add those pictures. There's so much value to those
Seriously.
flicks.
We're lucky that we grew up in that time. Like we were in like a transition period of like no technology to a boom of technology.
Yeah.
right? Like people used to have Blackberries, and the next thing you know, you have
iPhones.
iPhones, shit
Touch
you could take
screen,
video
all that
with.
good shit.
Remember the flip camera?
Yeah.
Like shit, like that's how people used to take video of stuff, and that was like within our lifetime.
I remember my
like
mom's
this?
first phone, and
Yeah.
she had the little Motorola, and she was
Yep.
snapping for days. The
Yeah.
hot pink Motorola.
You can't see a thing on it. 'cause it's
My-
all
my
very
pixelated,
first
but
one
it's
was
just
the
like you see
Sidekick.
that and you remember, oh,
Or like
Sidekick.
it's like a tiny Samsung, and then you turn it over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was
That
like
was
the
a big
coolest,
deal.
bro. It was the coolest shit back
It was
then.
like 06 to 08, maybe even a little further. That was like that was the iPhone of the
Bro,
time.
and they weren't even like expensive like that.
yeah.
And like I can remember when I got it, I used to in the summer I would be at the Arlington Boys and Girls Club, and I was like there was very few kids that had phones, and I was one of them. Bro, every chance I got, fucking pull that thing out, texting nobody.
Texting nobody.
Who the fuck am I
Let me see if
texting?
this
got
button
anyone
still
to
works.
text.
Type shit.
I got no one to text. It's like the middle of summer, everyone's playing sports or outside.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
It was a good It was a good period to grow up in. I feel like every period has its ups and downs, but I feel like we grew up where we seen everybody has, but like prior to all the social networking through all these social media apps to like now we're here and you can really make friends online mad easily. It's insane. Like we're able to do podcasts now. It's
or you don't
insane.
even like have to like type people's names in anymore.
Yeah,
You
they
download an
just
app
pop up.
and like it's like suggested.
Like if they're in your proximity, they're popping up. But speaking of proximity, I mean, we're not that old. You feel me? Like we graduated high school in the past 4 or 5 years. Speaking of graduating
Not
high
that old.
school, you feel me?
6 for you, 5 for us.
ain't have to.
Yeah.
You ain't have to.
Nah, it's fine. We got this is listen.
But we're on. It's 23 and 22.
No, that's valid.
It's a podcast.
We some
of
young heads
facts.
though, yo. See us back in like 5-6 years, we're gonna be in a different spot. We're gonna be up. Trust.
But see, the thing is like these kids now they don't have like. There's no seriousness behind coaches. Like that was real life. Like that was like holy shit. This dude fought in a war for this country, and he's deteriorating
But he's
at a
still
crazy rate.
developing and
he's
giving
still,
out to the city.
Right. Like that's what I mean when I say like Cambridge is. It's the people that make it special.
Yeah, for
And when people
100%.
come together, like dudes like my dad and Rob and Gooch, like they come together and they coach baseball. They make a difference, and
It's
that's
culture.
That's what it's about. And like,
But those are also the guys that are doing it for free, and like
right, they're not
doing
getting
it for
paid.
the town. So like you played AAU, so like you have a different point of view than me because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't play. But like I feel like you didn't play it. You played before the blow up of AAU.
Yeah.
So where like kids now are playing AAU from like the age of like 10,
Yeah.
and like a town coach can't tell them anything because of their parents writing the check, and like these like coaches in AAU are like making empty promises.
The thing is I was just talking to my pops about this. The price for AAU, I remember it. Like, and you're 100% right, because kids don't know how to decipher shit anymore. They also just don't listen to people in general. I could go on about kids today and whatnot, but AAU was $2,000, you know, and it's a lot of money, especially at the time too, like 10, 11 years ago. It's a lot of money for my parents who are middle class people.
Dead dogs. What?
And what ended up happening though is like I had
$10,000 for a season is what you're saying?
Not 2.
I'm sorry, I said 2. Yeah, I said
It was 2. You said 2.
All right, $2,000 for a season though.
$10,000.
10. That's. I mean, some
I'd
teams.
be like, yo,
some teams
pick a
today.
different hobby, bro.
Some
Yeah,
teams.
it out.
knitting type shit. I heard that wrong, but $2,000 for a season.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a commitment that you're putting your child in. Obviously, bro, I've always been into sports, so it wasn't
Yeah.
like a question if I was gonna like it or not.
Yeah, 100%.
But it was just like, not only the $2,000, but like I said, I've played 6 games in a weekend, so that means you have to show up in Danvers at 7 in the morning on a Saturday and Sunday. You have to show up for practice once or twice a week in Danvers, which is an hour away from us. So like, my parents made that commitment, and I, bro, I'm so like thankful for that. Ryan Whitaker, our coach, is the one that put me on with that team. But the whole thing is like, I ended up getting a discount because I played well. You know,
Yeah.
They wanted to retain me. The way that AAU baseball is now, it's all just it's a money grab.
Yeah.
They're poaching people, bro. They're like going after like parents.
No, it's true, yo.
No, but what AAU is meant for kids like me who knew that they wanted to play baseball. Like
Yeah.
they love
It's a
baseball.
develop-
But
your
it was.
skills.
But it was
And
also a
become
more
better.
competitive
Right.
atmosphere.
Dude, it was nuts. It was insane, and it taught me how to treat the game differently. Like, you know, practice how you play, or, you know, the way that you put on your belt is like, it means a lot more than just like
Are you
these
saying
kids
it's
now.
more like a bidding situation where it's like parents, you paying well, your son can play?
Nowadays, yes,
Okay.
absolutely, 100%. And you know, I played with a small team. I played with the team in their first year, but I was playing against teams that have already been established and shit like that. So like, you know, you see like, I don't know. I
The
know
leverage that money has is what you're speaking.
it's crazy, bro, because they're not even a team anymore because they couldn't afford it, and it might be because of the business aspect, like how they did shit. But like,
It's kind of sucks that AAU is now business run though. Like I feel like that's something that you deal with at a higher level of sports. You know, when you make it to the pros is where business really fucks up business is first. But
yeah,
I feel like at AAU that should not be an issue. But
it's
Yeah,
about the
think about
development,
like
though.
like
Yeah.
you have a team of like 13 or 15. That sound about right?
Yeah. No, it was like 15.
So like nowadays, parents are paying like 5. Times
crazy,
15.
They don't even know that their kid wants to play or
put
not.
that
Yeah.
shit in your
You know?
raw
Times
hire
15.
rate.
Now
Yeah,
you're looking at
that's-
I don't
75K
know
for that
about
season.
this economy though.
Parents from Cambridge.
But let me transition real quick.
Yeah.
Let me just know a little bit more about I feel like Murph can agree, you can agree, I can agree. Like growing up, like sports was kind of like our identity. You know, we grew up like loving sports.
Still is.
It's pretty apparent after
Yeah.
the words that I've spoken.
Like
but
you
yeah,
got
no.
Drake May on, you got Drake May on, we got
Yeah.
Pats on. Like we're sports fanatics, you know. And as a kid growing up, that's kind of like you find your niche and you stick to it. You
Right.
know. So coming off of high school, you graduate, you're kind of dipping your feet into the real world. Like, what was that like as an identity thing? Like, I could speak on it, Murph could speak on it, but
Yeah.
I want to know for you. Like, you're a big athlete, you know, you love that sports and all that good stuff. Like, what was it like going into the real world?
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro.
Keep it a bean.
This shit sucks, bro.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you exactly why, right? And I hate to blame it on a worldwide pandemic, but like I graduated. I mean, it's kind of the tale of my story. I mean, I graduated high school in 19, so that means I'm going to college that fall, and the coronavirus popped up in December, came to us in March, and I'll never forget the day I was in class. My history teacher was like, "Yeah, we're not going to be having class anymore. So this is just over." But like
safety.
after that, what happened is like I had a meeting in the gym with the baseball team for Bunker Hill. That's where I was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the AD just like looking at all of us and saying like, yeah, we're not going to play baseball this year. And we're also not going to play next year. I'm like, what are you talking, like, how are you going to call it before,
How are you going to, yeah.
You know, and that kind of, it threw me off. I'm not saying that's why I made the decisions I made, but like, because ultimately, like, they didn't have a season. Because it was bad. Like, she called it right.
Yeah, Corona is some crazy shit, bro.
But like, you know, that definitely had like an effect on my, you know, my path from there. Because what I wanted to do was play baseball there, go to school, be productive, and then transfer.
Mm-hmm.
And I milked that ticket, and I probably shouldn't have, but you know, I don't know. The thing is like, my whole thing in life is like figuring out what you want to do. That should be the same for everyone else. It's not the easiest thing to do.
Hell no, especially for the rest of your life.
Right, but you know, shit changes, of course. But you know, I think that's the biggest anxiety out of, you know, the college kid or someone fresh out of high school is like, what the fuck am I gonna do with myself?
All that pressure on you too.
You know,
it's a lot of pressure and a lot less support. Like coming out of high school, you have a lot of support from teachers, and then you go into college or whatever you want to do. There's a lot less support and a lot more independency. Like,
you got to figure this out. We're in the middle of a pandemic, so I'm like, I don't know what I want to do right now.
Shout out to everybody who went through the pandemic, man. That shit was not easy. For anybody at any age, any career standpoint, like, you had to take that pivot.
We're going to be telling our kids about this shit when we're older, and they're going to be like, shut the fuck up.
Like this weak-ass flu.
Bro, the only good thing about the virus is, like, some of the guys that have kids, like, that I work with, like, they talk about how much money they were making on those checks.
Oh,
they were like, but they were catching like 4K a week.
Sometimes I wished I invested into the what was it, PPP?
What?
Some people was doing some freaky shit on the side with the PPP
loan.
I don't know. People that I don't know. Like, I'm glad I did it because I don't want to get my name tarnished. But
all banks tap in.
All banks.
Yeah, you got Chime. But no, dude, it's been a journey, and I'm 23, about to turn 24 in a month, and
yes, sir.
You know, I'm transitioning into a whole nother avenue now. I mean, the thing is that you can't be afraid of opportunity, and that's kind of like what I've always looked at. You got to keep your options open. You got to talk to the right people. You got to have the right connections. You can't be afraid to do something new, and that's what I've learned from the pandemic, because it's just something that it created for people. It's like people got too complacent in like their situation of not leaving the house, you know, working from home. I think people should work from home, though. Don't get me wrong.
Working from home has like its positives. It's cool,
I'm jealous.
bro.
I can't do it. I have to go outside.
But think about the mindset that you're gonna create of like,
just the comfort.
You just gotta, but like, then you really don't leave the house. Yeah. Like, you leave the house to grocery shop and stuff like that.
But that's not society. Society shouldn't be, you know.
Shit's not it. You should be able to socialize every day.
But people our age, you should be outside and talking to humans, like not just talking.
And that's what I missed
through the computer.
Like, yeah, dude, Zoom college was fucking weird, bro.
It was not.
I've been getting some crazy memories, bro. I used to film kids just saying crazy shit.
I got Snapchat memories.
I'm like, yo, this kid's a tweaker, bro. Why is he even talking right now?
Bro, like chilling in their PJs, wilding out.
I definitely got memories saved on Snapchat.
Not gonna lie, talking about that COVID and that weird situation. I just got a quick little quote for you guys, but I feel like COVID fucked us all up. You know, it forced us to take decisions we were never expecting. I think that's what life is. But when you're going through life, or a hard time, don't think about what you're gonna gain after this, like materialistically, but think about it like who you become after. You know, don't think about like, hey, if I do this hard work, I'll get some money. Think about, hey, if I face my fears, I'll become fearless in this area. Right. You know, so just focus on who you become and stop focusing on the materialistic things a little bit.